A minute ago.
There we go. We should be live and ready to go. RCTV is on.
We can call to order with a 7:06. Nice to see everybody.
Nice to see you.
See our relatively light agenda. So financial report, director's report, minutes and future items, but we will start. Public comment. Is anyone online?
No, we do not have anyone online, and as far as I know, we did not receive any comments on emails that need to be reported.
Nope, not that I've seen.
Yeah.
All right. Move on to then item 3, financial report.
Yeah. Before I get to that, I just will just make a quick note is that we are going to, this month was the month for our gift policy, and there were no changes. We did review it, but there were no changes to the gift policy, so there were no changes from policy we reviewed last time either. So we should be good to go. Next month, however, we will be looking at the borrowing policy, so there may be a few changes there. So we filed our state aid application and financial report and compliance report to the MBLC on September 20th. Pat, thanks for getting me the signature. Just a reminder, we do that so that is part of our certification and eligibility for state aid. You can see there the listed total appropriated municipal income, the TAMI of 2.105025. We are open to all residents of the Commonwealth. We do not charge for normal library services. We meet or exceed the requirement for 60 hours. We have a certified director, and we expended well over, not well over, but about 14.5% of our, we met our 13% requirement of materials. So we look forward to getting our state aid awards in December 2023. We get one payment usually in December, and the second one in March or April. The second one is usually about the same as the first one. So most of the time, historically, what we get in December is about 1/2 of what of the total state aid for the year. Last year it was about $52,000 total. And I think it actually may be more than that, but that's a pretty big jump. Or whatever the number was last year was a pretty big jump. But I've heard there's going to be another jump this year. If you have any questions about library certification or the state aid program, please visit their website. Just so you know, we've had several gifts in memory of Peggy White. Peggy, if you don't know her, was our quilter, a very longtime supporter of the library. Her quilts hang all over the town and recognized as very fondly. So we have several people who have donated in memory of Peggy. Also, we're running nicely under budget for salaries due to current vacancies. Are there any questions about the financial report? Okay, September snapshot. So I have this month's and last month's and then a year ago, just for some comparison. Things are steady and they're sort of where they need to be. Areas where we could probably see a little more movement, that it would be nice to see a little more movement, is in meeting room use rentals by the public. I think that is coming back slowly. What's not always reported on here, actually, Megan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't necessarily report it when we have a town training or like the town financial forum.
Those would be community.
Those would be, yeah, but are they, I don't think we report those, do we?
I'm not sure if they're included on these.
Yeah, so I would look into that, and we may want to add a column because we have been doing a lot of training, like the fire department's going to come do a 6-week something training or a few-day training. And so we do have a lot of town, the financial forum that we had a couple weeks ago was here. So we just want to make sure that we include our town events in our meeting room use, because when you say 16, it may not seem like a lot. There may be other uses that we're having for town-related meetings. And the other area is we do want to increase our volunteer hours. Prior to COVID, we had the almost equivalent of about 30 to 40 hours a month of volunteer time, and a lot more during the summer when we would have teen volunteers. We just have not been able to get that going. Not quite sure how to solve that problem right now, but I think there's a lot of opportunities. We just have to get ourselves organized and make sure that we are giving those volunteers the appropriate training and not obviously doing any jobs that we want hired people to do.
Amy, is it a lack of interested volunteers or is it a lack of staff time to like spend getting somebody up to speed and guiding them? And
I would say more the latter, because we've been, doing so much hiring and been short-staffed here. So once, also our summer reading programs changed a lot during COVID, and even before COVID, we had started to reduce the number of teen volunteer hours in the summer. That does require an immense amount of time. And even like the net guides require like 2 to 3 full days of training for the kids and then coordinating their schedules. And so it is a little bit of a staff time issue. We do get people who want to volunteer, but I would say, Michelle, you get the applications. There are not as many as we used to get. Or yes.
I don't actually know how many, like, I can't compare in terms of people asking to volunteer. We probably get about maybe 3 a month, maybe at the most. And then I just keep a record of it and contact them if we need.
Yeah. So it's a combination of both, but I think it's something where we do want to be a resource for people to be able to contribute to the community.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Any questions in general about the statistics or the snapshot for our usage during the month of September?
I'm curious, a reference question is just somebody coming to the reference desk and asking a question?
Yeah, we get them by email, phone call. We do have a chat capability. We don't get as many during that, and then our in-persons. We have a system called Gimlet that we use to track those, and it helps us identify areas where we need to get more information, things like that.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to facilities and operations. Sunday, we had a group of scouts, Girl Scouts, come plant over 100 spring flowering bulbs around the building. It was actually they were all near the entrance. We didn't have time to do anything on Deering Street. I just want to shout out to Andrea Hogan, who helped me 2 weekends and to clear out the beds and prep them and zone them. And you will be seeing requests for reimbursement for the bulbs coming back at you soon. I just haven't gotten that organized, but it was a really great program for them. The garden club, there were 4 members of the garden club that were showing them how to do the planting. They each got a bookmark that talked about one of the 5 different types of bulbs that we planted, so they got to take that home. And they really seemed to have a good time. There were about 15 girls, so it was great.
That's great.
Sunday hours resumed October 1st. Barring any weather problems, we'll be open 31 Sundays. And our last open Sunday is May 19th. Just a side note, in general, the building's running really well. This week we are getting replacement compressors for the HVAC system towards the end of the summer. A couple of those blew. It was quite hot in some of the work areas and the teen spot, but we now hopefully have those pieces in place, and they should get repaired just as we turn the heat on, but they'll be ready to go next spring. I think that's all from the facilities. Michelle, can you think of anything else?
Facilities?
Yeah. something I always forget, because we live, I live here, and we're here every day, and I'm like, yeah, this happened, there was a doll stuck in the toilet, and John got it out, so these things happen, so.
Well, you're gonna talk about it. They're always super helpful in terms of setting up for the new resident open house.
Yes.
So just that in itself is very helpful.
Yeah. So the library read-in was really great. We had about 95 people. We moved it indoors, but there were a few people that weren't comfortable with that, and they just sat out on the lawn and read and had a great time. It didn't end up raining. So we had donuts, and we had cider, and kids came. They built forts with blankets in the reading room, and it was a really, really fun event. And then, I don't know if you noticed, but Andrea was actually in the Globe, wearing her Reading shirt at the Arlington event, which was on Sunday and a nicer, sunnier day, but she was. Michelle mentioned the new resident open house. Michelle, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So we had the new resident open house last Tuesday night. We had the conference room, the community room, the studio. People were very excited about it. We had pizza and a lot of different organizations came in. And then we had our debrief today. We're going to continue doing the same thing that with the timing of it. What we might do is open it up more to the general public because people don't always know about what the town give or can provide to them, and then different organizations. So it might be helpful to everybody to have access to it.
Did they use the translator services much?
No. We actually had a student who was helping with translation, but we did have, they could use the not Google Translate, it's some sort of app that people can use. We had that available, and we also had the
Pocket translators.
Pocket Translator as well, but they didn't use it.
Okay, thanks. It was hopping here. And just as Michelle was saying, this was really well supported from Town Hall and from facilities and from DPW, and we got a lot of stuff done, and just really couldn't have handled a program of that size without help from the other town departments. So thank you to everyone who made that happen. We've been playing with our story times, as you know, they got all filled up. We have regular story times on Monday through Thursday, and then we also have drop-ins on Fridays and pretty much every Saturday. Our special guest story time, we mentioned here the speech therapy center. It was really great, but also I think the town manager did one. The fire department was here. They were superstars, so now the police department wants to come and be extra superstars. But they were very popular with the kids, and so they're having these sort of special guest story times intermixed with things like sing-alongs, and then on Saturday the jumping beans. We did have our Pride story time on Saturday. We had.
Did the firemen wear their uniforms?
Yeah, I think there's one in uniform, but there was also, or someone else. There's definitely equipment was there. There was definitely equipment.
That makes it exciting for kids.
Oh, yeah, it makes it very exciting. We did have our Pride story time on Saturday, and it was a smaller registration, but we had a lot of walk-ins that were very happy. It was a really great time. It went very smoothly. Megan McCabe, who is coordinating our 6th grade library tours this year, had a great meeting with the middle and high school media specialists. It was really, I stopped in, and it just was really great to listen and talk to them about what it's like to be running a school library right now. I think it's, not always the easiest job. They have to keep up with teaching information literacy. They teach classes, they do a lot of other stuff. So it's really great that we're able to support, particularly, we always support the elementary ones, but I think with the middle and high school, it's sort of an interesting time to be supporting the media centers and how we can collaborate. Working on a American Revolution 250th anniversary. There's a lot of ideas, and the focus is on trying to bring sort of the lesser known stories to the forefront. The English conversation group came back, and it is amazing. It was full, it was over full. There were, I think, well, they said about a dozen different languages represented, but they were all trying to speak English, and it was really great. They were a very excited group of people, and they were all in the studio, and it was just really a lot of great energy around that. And then the Pleasant Street Center, in addition to doing some regular programming, is also working with, to have the Memory Cafe, which was something they used to do before COVID, and that's returning, so that's really great. I just wanted to take a moment this month to talk about our printing statistics. As you may or may not recall, but last fall, we installed a whole new system that included purchasing kiosks, scanning software, copy beds, things like that, and which is not inexpensive. It's not something we do very regularly. But one of the biggest draws was the reporting features, the ease of use, and the fact that this service could be credit card enabled. And just, if you think about it, the monthly average of printed page, just printing, mobile print or regular print, is 2,700. And that's a lot of printing. Like, I never really think about it. And it's not like people just stand there. I mean, you don't notice how often it's happening, but it's happening quite a bit. And, they're paying 20 or 25 cents a page, depending whether it's color or black and white. And I just want to remind you that all those fees go into the revolving fund. And we use the revolving fund to pay for things like printer and toner, and if we ever have equipment. If we go over $15,000 in that fund, the surplus goes to the town. Related to that was the scanning fax copy system that kind of uses the same coin boxes and everything. The only thing that people pay for there are copies. So if they put something in the scanner bed, print it out, they get a copy. They pay their 20 cents or 25 cents, depending on whether it's black or white. On that chart, and it's hard to read, the bluish line that starts with 368 and ends with 612 is the copies per month. It's hard to read them, but we do still do a fair few of faxes, which is pages, which still happens. Those are free. We don't charge anything for faxing or for sending it to email or sending it to a thumb drive or to a Google Drive. We just charge people if they actually walk away with a print piece of paper. And there was an average of 1,100 scans each month between September and August. So people are scanning and printing quite a bit, and I think it's a really valuable service. It's a fairly low-cost service. And it is not a revenue generator. It's meant to either break even or sometimes come at a loss for us as a service. Any questions about printing, copy, scanning, and faxing? I don't know if anyone else was surprised by those numbers, but I'm always surprised when I see those numbers.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of printing. And then we have things like when the internet goes down in a certain sector of the community and people have to come into the library to use the internet, like it happened today. We had a fair number of people calling. So it is nice when we have all those things and we can help support the community that way. We have NAILA conference coming up. Michelle will be there. Just as a reminder, Michelle is also the president of the Massachusetts Library Association. And so she will be going to the New England Library Association conference, as well as we're sending 3 other librarians there. It's local, well, not local, it's in Springfield. And that runs from Sunday through next Tuesday. Our 6th grade tours are coming. We definitely have Parker scheduled. It's been a little difficult to get Coolidge scheduled. We'll see if we can find a time to make that happen, but we do what we can with the schedules that we can. Tomorrow night is Wednesday, the 11th. FinCom will be voting on the FY25 budget guidance. So that means we will have the framework. I will have the framework to produce a draft budget, level 1 budget, for your approval in November, which can then presented at the select board in December, and then a final one in next February, or that will be on the warrant to go towards the April town meeting. So we're deep in FY25 budget. A week from this Friday, October 20th, we will be closed for our annual staff development day. The library will close on that Friday. We have right now about 20 staff a little over 20 staff registered to come. It's a full-day event that people can come either for any portion of the day, but we request that everybody come for the full day. It's a lot of team building. We're working on, one of the presentations is going from wrong to strong. It's about sort of how to work with not fixing, but adjusting your attitude a little bit. And then habits and some health things. We're also having an ergonomic person come in to work with us to speak with people who work at the high desks and who work at low desks to make sure that we have, the right kind of chairs, seating, and make sure we're giving everybody a good, healthy place to work. Those are all sponsored by Maya, which is our insurer. And the only cost will be the cost for food, which the Friends will be supporting. Subsequent town meeting starts on November 13th. There should be nothing related to the library on that warrant. But that does mean that the next trustee meeting will also be on a Tuesday, which will be the 14th. We have lots of personnel things going on. I just want to call out Susan Beauregard, who has been here for 30 years. Susan is currently our community health librarian, but she's also been a teen librarian for many years. So that's a real achievement. We don't have a lot of people that make it that long. And then Catherine Jeffrenscano has been here 15, Jamie Penny, 23, and I've been here 20 years. So just in that list, there's a lot of longevity there, which I think speaks well of the library. We have we'll hopefully have a press release tomorrow, I think. We're working on tomorrow. Have our press release out. Our new DESJ person, officer, director, Mr. Albert Pless. Mr. Pless has a number of things on you can read the press release. It talks about his background, but he also has held a similar position up in Andover, and he lives locally. And we're excited to work with Albert. Andrea Fiorillo has been promoted to the division head of public services, and we love it when we can promote internally. That's why we're structured to have librarian 1, librarian 2, and then division head. Of course, that now means that we need to hire a librarian 2, a senior librarian, to fill Andrea's spot. We also have 3 new student pages starting this month, and we're just really excited to have them. We only get our student pages for usually 1 to 2 years because they graduate, and but we're excited to have them working with us. And also, this is something that's not going to really happen for another year, but I just wanted to call it out that Michelle has been working with the RMHS transition specialist to do a post-grad paid internship program for students between the ages of 18 and 22. And so these are usually developmentally delayed students or students on the spectrum, and it's to help them work on their independent living skills, vocational skills, and we would look to be hiring and developing a program for them. It could be as simple as a page position, but it could also be something else that requires, I don't know, using a scanner or using some sort of technology. I think it'll be customized to the type of work that we can do. So I'm just putting that out there because it might affect how we budget for our FY25, because we would like to include a little money to be able to have this as a paid position. It doesn't have to be, but we'd like to be able to have an internship program. And then, as usual,
Amy, just a quick question.
Yeah.
Mr. Pless, what is his start date?
Monday. Thank you. He'll be here on Monday, so I'm very excited about that. Also, I'm sure you've heard that our town manager will be moving on. We do not have an end date for that, but we will be looking for, the town will be seeking out a new town manager. There had been discussions earlier in the year about the director of equity position and where that person could sit both budgetarily and physically. And right now, we're just going to leave everything the way it is because it seemed to work with Sudeshna. It's fine. It's not particularly broken. We don't need to fix it. And if things progress throughout the year for FY25, we'll take things, again, we'll look at it. But for now, we're just going to keep our office and keep our division going out of here and set some short and long-term goals so that we can make sure that the position is sustainable. And then finally, I always like to show you, we had a really broad array of continuing education this month. It always amazes me what people are learning about. Everything from strategies to support executive function, to heritage responders, to understanding team behavior, which I think I should have taken as a mom, we should all take. And then transforming libraries through trauma-informed services, which is it's a really powerful program that we see more and more need for in our communities. And that, in a nutshell, is what we did in September.
Great, thank you. Wonderful. Anyone have any follow-up or questions? Excellent, thank you very much. Very detailed. Approval of the September 11th, 2023 meeting minutes. Everyone's had a chance to look at those. Any comments or edits?
Move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion, we have it seconded. Anyone have any questions or discussion? All in favor? Great, thank you very much. Future agenda items, if there's anything, the only questions I had is there were a couple more or less liaison positions that have been talked about and had meetings, and I don't know if there's anything, any of those were ripe for anything to come to the board. I know the bylaws, the DEI assessment, landscaping, things like that, but if there's anything ripe, we can add them to future agendas at some point, and if there's not, we can wait for another day.
Definitely put discussion of liaison and on the next agenda. Think about it, give us something to think about. Actually, Cherry is going to be coming to we have a kickoff meeting with the Activitas this Thursday, so in November there should be a landscape committee update. And then, as I said earlier, we'll be looking at the borrowing policy.
Bless you.
And I think the fines and fee policy comes with that, actually, borrowing and fines and fee policies.
What was that last bit?
The fines and fees policy, it goes hand in hand with the borrowing policy. I don't think there's any changes to that, though.
Anyone have anything else to address?
Just was curious if you had an update on the tween space.
Yeah, we're going out one more time. We still don't have the document approved by town council. However, so I'd like to get that out this week and hopefully have a return on the custom carpentry and millwork 2 weeks after whenever we get this out. If we cannot be successful with the custom built furniture, I have met with the designer. Megan and I went to the Mass Higher Education Expo Education Consortium, which is a purchasing consortium that we belong to. And we met with a bunch of designers, and we now have a plan B. And it's mostly just that we need some language in there it's a difficult project to bid out for. Because it's small, it's just small enough, and it's just complicated enough that we still need a lot of insurance and requirements to make sure things are safe and protected, and we just need to find the right vendor to do it.
Thank you.
Oh, the painting's going to start, though. The painting should be started end of October into November. I think they're going to do a lot of painting over. The mural will be done hopefully after Thanksgiving. So, or a part of it will be done in Thanksgiving, and then the other part will be done between Christmas and New Year's, the week between Christmas and New Year's. So.
Right, will they be working out during the day? Like during open hours?
Saturday and Sunday, yeah, we'll have some open hours. They're trying to do it on, right now it's one person. So it's trying to phase it in steps. The nice thing about Sundays is that we're not open that long and it's not exactly a high traffic, but they are working on figuring out how to block off that area.
Okay.
It goes all the way up to the ceiling though. So.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Someone has to say it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Okay, that was Cappy, seconded by Monette.
In favor? There we go.
Wow, that was a record.
That was a record.
Crazy.
Great. Wow.